This is Barnstable Today for Friday, April 24th. Welcome aboard. I'm Mark Mumford, and please keep in mind that the meetings we cover are available on demand at the town's website, town.barnstable.ma.us.
The Airport Commission discusses changes to the terminal project. That's our focus. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kevin Friel.
At this week's meeting in the airport conference room, Commission Chair Dan Santos offered up the latest from the terminal subcommittee.
We're not having met for some time, and as you all know, after Bud joined us, we looked long and hard at the terminal project, and so we kind of put the brakes on for a while until he could get a handle on that. And he's been working very diligently with our consultants to bring us back in line, get us back on track, make sure we're within our budget, and I think they've been doing a great job with that. At our meeting, and I'm going to have actually one of the consultants discuss with us here, present to you a couple of decisions we've made. But prior to that, just to touch on a couple of the other things we addressed there were property acquisition. On April 16th, I believe, we completed the taking of the McGregor property. Considered a negotiated friendly taking, yes. And we now own that property, so that's the final piece of the property acquisition to enable us to build the access road, so that's good news. And now the tenants, I believe, have 120 days to relocate before we take over possession and start the demolition process as part of our construction project. We discussed the DRI permit modification review submission, which we were, well, frankly, very disappointed to hear that the modification has been considered a major modification by a subcommittee of the Cape Cod Commission. What that means is that there's a lot more public involvement, meetings and hearings as part of that process in order to get the changes that we were proposing approved. And those changes, you may remember, were change to the size of the building and a elimination of the traffic light at Hinckley Road, and a change in the location or the direction of the access road. Their concerns were primarily traffic in nature, and they've asked us to provide more information as part of that process. So obviously we will comply with that, and we're working with our consultants to provide the information that they need.
Commission Chair Santos asked Airport Manager Bud Breholt to put the latest proposed changes to the terminal project into a financial context.
Just that.
We started out with a construction cost estimate at 60% back in
It was
February,
actually,
right?
the last estimate was about 18, I forget the exact number.
Yeah, it was somewhere between 17.5 and 20.8, I believe, is what the numbers were when we first discovered the problem that we were over budget. So in essence, we felt we were somewhere between $4 and $6 million over the construction budget. And we're tasked by the town council with an overall total project cost of $20 million at this point. And so if you start working it backwards and taking out all your soft costs and your contingencies, we felt that the terminal cost should be somewhere around $14 million at that time. So that's what they were tasked with, was to get that estimate of somewhere between 17.5 and 20 million down to about 14 million in order for us to proceed. So that's what they've been working diligently on, and I think that in working with Jim and with Jacobs and with Suffolk, who's been working with us basically pro bono because they don't have a contract yet, to try to get these costs down, and with all their other consultants, I think they've done an admirable job in trying to preserve the terminal as close as we currently have it, but yet get those cost numbers down. And right now, I think the terminal was around 35,000, 36,000 square feet as designed for the 60%. And we're down now to somewhere, if we go with the modification that we're going to talk about here shortly, we're probably in a 32,000 square foot category. So that's what we're tasked with, and that's what he's trying to do.
The airport manager also spoke in regard to going back to the town council to talk dollars and cents.
Yeah. part of what you're talking about presupposes that we can go back to the town council very soon and to give them an update on the project and to change the amount that was listed as a total project cost in the resolve from $20 million to $21.1 million. If you look at the numbers that were in the resolve, there was a $15 million MAC grant, there was a $3.3 million bond on the part of the town, and a 3.217 amount that was specified that was the maximum that we could take from the reserves for the project. If you add them all up, it comes to 21.5, basically, $1 million. And in speaking with the finance director, I asked him how we got to the 20 million, if those were the numbers that we were limited to. And essentially, he indicated that it was thought at the time that we would be using about $1.5 million of the MAC grant for projects that were not part of the terminal. The only thing that we can find that is not part of the terminal that comes right out of the MAC grant now is the cost for the apron, which is about $400,000, our cost. So that would come out of that 21.5 million, gets us down to 21.1. So we would like to go back to the town council and ask that they amend the resolve to reflect that. And if we get that, then we should be able to add back in the items.
And just to clarify very simply, we're not looking to increase our budget. We're simply looking to correct an error in how it was looked at and be allowed to spend money that we have or will have, which will allow us to accommodate this scheme C1.
C1, correct.
The commission also heard that noise complaints are down and that noise monitoring is about to begin again as the summer approaches.
And we're going to be resuming the noise monitoring as we come back to the better weather and higher traffic. So at the next meeting, we'll have a report on noise monitoring.
I'd like, during that noise monitoring, if we could specifically make it a point to monitor the 402 versus the new Cessna Caravan, just to see what this monitoring equipment suggests about the noise levels. We've heard that it's a quieter aircraft, it's a single engine plane, but it'd be interesting to know what the readings from your equipment are.
Sure.
And I imagine that'll probably fly over at that point since they're giving it a lot of use.
Definitely.
If you could do that, that'd be great. Any comments or questions for Tina?
And just a reminder, you can watch the Airport Commission meetings on demand at the town's website, town.barnstable.ma.us.
Meanwhile, there are no meetings on the town calendar this evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kevin Friel.
We'll meet you right back here on Monday. I'm Mark Mumford.